Welcome, everyone. My name is Saeed Rafi. Today, I'll be presenting my findings on APT29, also known as Cozy Bear. I hope you all are doing well. So, APT29 is a highly sophisticated and state sponsored Russian cyber espionage group. Their operations are not random, they are deeply strategic and tied to Russia's geopolitical interests. What makes them interesting and dangerous is their ability to stay hidden in networks for long periods of time and collecting data without being detected. This presentation will dive into their behaviors using the diamond model of intrusion analysis, breaking down the adversary, their victims, capabilities, and infrastructure. Then we'll look at how these elements align with the cyber kill chain to give us a full picture of their tactics. So as you can see in the slide, the the different quadrants will touch base on APT29's diamond model findings. To start off at the top with the adversary, so APT29 is just not another cyber criminal group. They're operated by Russian Foreign Intelligence Services, also known as SVR, which means everything they do is with national level objectives in their mind. Their attacks aren't financially motivated. Instead, they are after intelligence, secrets, government communications, and anything that can give Russia an edge in international affairs. They've been involved in some of the most impactful cyber intrusions in history, such as the SolarWinds supply chain attack, where malware was inserted into trusted software updates and it affected over 18,000 organizations globally. That shows that this APT group has a level of patience, persistent planning, and technical expertise that very few other APT groups can match. Moving on to the infrastructure quadrant, the tools they use also show they're flexible in a way. They use everything from well known tools like Combat Strike, typically used by red teams for ethical hacking, and this ranges from their own custom developed malware like Regduke and Cozy Car. These tools are designed to maintain access, quickly escalate privileges, and maintain access across systems. And the primary victims per se range from the U.S., Europe, and Ukraine. These all share a similar theme of uh, having sensitive information that can give Russia an edge in international affairs. So diving deeper into the adversary quadrant, um, like we said, APT is a definition of a persistent threat. They're quiet, patient, and often undetected until the damage is already done. What sets them apart is just not their technology, but their operational discipline. According to Blackpoint Cyber 2024, they employ tactics that reduce their digital footprint, meaning they don't just break in and make noise. They infiltrate systems and avoid detection using encryption, legitimate software tools, and techniques like living off the land. They are often assigned targets that are politically strategic. An example would be the Democratic National Committee in 2016, and this shows how they're used to advance Russia's foreign policy goals. They aren't just hackers in the basement, they're an intelligent operation with funding goals and objectives tied to state interests. Moving on to the victims quadrant. So APT 29 goes after high value targets. Think of foreign ministries, embassies, energy providers, and defense contractors. So according to Lockpoint 2024, their targeting spans from U.S., Europe, and Ukraine. And like I shared in the previous slide, what all these victims have in common is that they hold sensitive geopolitical data. They're chosen because they represent valuable strategic insight on foreign policy, defense, or national operations. One thing to highlight here is how APT 29 exploits trust. They often gain access through phishing campaigns, sending emails that look legitimate but carry malicious links or attachments. Once inside, they blend in with regular user behavior, making it hard for defenders to notice anything was wrong or is wrong. This makes them especially effective in long term espionage campaigns. Moving on to the capabilities quadrant. So APT29's capability reflect their advanced skill set. We're talking about a toolbox kit that includes Combat Strike, CDuck, PowerShell, and many others. All of these are tools that system admins also use. This makes it harder for defenders to distinguish malicious from legitimate behavior. But what's more critical is that they often create their own custom malware. For example, Cozy Car and RegDuke are not just data stealing tools, they're often built to survive system reboots, maintain access, and operate quickly and quietly. They are they also deploy Chopsticks malware, which is modular and can be updated over time. They're very good at exploiting known vulnerabilities, CVEs, too. This means that if your organization doesn't patch, often you're essentially leaving the door open. These attackers are also always scanning for soft spots, and once they're in, they can escalate privileges to move deeper into the system, often stealing credentials, and often using stolen credentials that they've gotten to make themselves look like legitimate users. Moving on to the infrastructure quadrant. So this is where APT29 gets really clever. Instead of using traditional command and control servers that might raise red flags, they use cloud services like Google Drive, Dropbox, and Firebase. These platforms are so common that firewalls and network monitors don't flag them as suspicious. So, according to Blackpoint 2024, it highlights how this makes their traffic blend in with legitimate business operations. For example, a C2 server hosted on Google Drive is a nightmare because to detect it is a nightmare to detect because it looks like someone is just syncing a document. This tactic also makes incident response much harder. If your security team sees traffic going to Google Drive, they may assume it's a normal file storage, not malware receiving commands. This just shows how sophisticated um, and persistent they are with their infrastructure, and how it's no longer about just brute force, it's about stealth and misdirection. So let's connect APT29's behaviors to the cyber kill chain, which is a model used to understand the stages of a cyber attack. And this will give us a bigger picture and align the elements from the diamond model analysis. So, starting off with reconnaissance, APT29 starts by researching targets. They use open source intelligence, um, such as looking into who works at a certain company, what softwares this company uses, what vulnerabilities might exist. They might scrape LinkedIn, send test emails to see what bounces back. Moving on to weaponization and delivery, these sort of tie together. They craft malicious payloads using malware like RegDuke or CDuck, then deliver them via phishing emails. These emails often mimic trusted sources, a maybe a password reset notice, a shared file, etc. Moving on to the exploitation stage in the installation phase. Once the victim clicks the link or opens the attachment, the malware installs itself and starts gathering credentials. It may also install persistent backdoors so the attackers can re enter at will and stay persistent within the network without being detected. Moving on to the command and control, their C2 communications go through platforms like Google Drive, as we discussed previously. These allow them to control infected machines and issue commands while remaining under the radar. And finally, actions on objectives. They exfiltrate data using small packets encrypted in it and embedded using techniques like stenography. They don't dump everything at once. They're careful, slow, and selective, and patient. So APT29's alignment with the cyber kill chain is really textbook and gives us a bigger picture, which is why understanding this model helps defenders recognize and distribute them at each stage. In conclusion, APT29 represents a long term evolving threat to national security and private sector operations. Their mix of stealth, technical depth, and geopolitical backing makes them difficult to counter. The best defenses isn't just antivirus software or firewalls, it's proactive detection, like using breach and attack simulation BAS tools to simulate APT29's techniques and identify weaknesses before they do. This also means regular patching, email filtering, threat hunting, and employee training. APT 29 isn't going away anytime soon, and with global tensions rising, their activity is likely to increase. Understanding their methods through the diamond model and kill chain is key to staying ahead. And thank you for your time today.